three.
I'm assuming growing up in the church also led to your music and performing as well. So what got you from theater to thinking like I want to be a recording artist?
So it's funny. I was in a I was in LA, and when I first moved to LA, most people that first move to LA, they're doing something on the side.
Of course.
Other than they're dark.
Oh
So
yeah.
we were still doing something, which is cool. I mean, hey, you gotta get there until you able to actually be there. Feel
Yeah.
the support. So I was doing phone marketing at the time.
Okay.
Raising funds for a telemarketing company. And this I never forget Garrett, who is a sound engineer in Los Angeles. Shout out to Haven Recording Studios, and he was actually one of the managers. And he said, hey, he was like, because he knew that I was working on a project, a film project,
Right.
and he said, if you want to record music, he says, I'm building a studio. This is when they
Oh,
was building
wow.
it. He was like, and I'll trade you studio time for recording. I was like. I'm with you. Keep doing what you're doing, but I'm not really sold on it.
Okay.
I wasn't sold on it because
Okay.
in my mind, being a solo artist, that wasn't what I was like leaning towards.
Okay.
I wasn't leaning towards that side of entertainment.
Right.
It was more on the producing film side.
Yeah.
And he kept saying it. But here's what's crazy, Jeremy. When I was younger, I always would pretend like I was standing in front of crowds of people, singing and performing. I'm talking like 10, 11.
Sure.
I was like I would pretend Boyz II Men was one of my favorite groups still to this day. And I remember when they had the 2 albums. You remember the 2 album 2, when it was blue, and it had the number 2, and they had songs like Water Runs Dry. Oh my goodness, there's so many classics. Trying Times, but it was one of their albums. I think they did in '94.
Okay.
And I would just pretend like I was with voice, like I
Wow,
was performing
yeah.
live on stage. You know what I'm saying? And that was like, and me and my friend Terrell, when I go visit, we would pretend like we were singing and that sort of thing. So I never really was in the recording mode or phase in my life, until he kept. Like, it was 3 or 4 times where he was like, hey, he was like, I just want you to know that you can, we could trade some studio time when you're ready. And it's funny how when I think that was God working, because I feel like it was a tap on my shoulder saying, now it's time.
Yeah.
And so I did it. The first time I did it, I fell in love with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. And what's crazy is I didn't know anything about mixing, master, recording, rights. So I got some beats off in the internet.
Well, you're sure. That's how everybody starts.
I got some beats off the internet. And then I heard, I think at the time there was it TuneCore? Yeah, I think it was TuneCore. So we're looking now like 3 years down the road, and I'm recording like a project. And so I put it up on TuneCore, and all of a sudden I get this note from this producer, I guess he was a producer at the time. He was like, you don't have the rights to be selling it. So I was like, what? Huh? So I had to brush up on my business side.
Well, sure.
Of the industry. Yeah.
And so about like how long ago was this?
So this was about I would say about 5 years ago. This is about 5 years ago when I really started. I started, putting out music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long would you say like you've been in the industry?
I would say about 6 years. I would
Okay.
say around 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, what was your first project that you did? Was it just like?
So, I would say the first project would be international. So I did, I would say international, because that was the project where I literally I did some songs that I produced myself.
Okay.
Off from GarageBand.
Nice. Yes. Oh yeah.
And like if you go through my catalog, you know, you kind of tell the release difference. Even though I released some of my older projects, but that was like the first, and that wasn't even a full album. It was just like I think that was at the time. It's like an LP.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. Get with it. And 1, 2.